you that he knows you and loves this man. I thank you that he knows you and loves you and follows you. You have insulted me. You have critiqued me. And for what it is worth, you have single-handedly shattered my self-confidence.
For the victory lap, though. Whoa, whoa. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I stress overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yup, the champ is here. Switch gears, we keeping haters in the rear.
What is going on, folks? It is Common Sense, and we are back for another reaction video. As always, we're gonna start things off with a little bit of introductions. Go ahead on.
Yeah, y'all, this is C. Julius Workout. Check me on Instagram and on YouTube. And we're back here for another great video.
All right, you already know it's your boy Anime Swag Fitness. Anime Swag Fitness on Instagram, Shopee90, Bigger Guy Fashion, Common Sense Podcast, and YouTube. So we are here for a reaction video to the Love is Blind Season 3 reunion recap, essentially. So maybe there's no Love is Blind is. Quick little tidbit. Love is Blind is pretty much a show where, people, men and women, a certain amount of them, they go into these pods and they date, right? They date. They have about 10 days to find somebody. That's literally all they do, morning, noon, and night. They just talk, right? Once you find somebody, the guy likes you, you propose, and then after that, you finally get to meet the next day in person, and then from there, you go on your honeymoon, and then you move in together, and then at the end of I think it's like a 5 or 6 week process, you go to the altar, and either you say I do or you don't. This is in its 3rd season now. It's a very popular show. We are reacting to some controversial topics from this season. And Cole, I'll let you go ahead on and give a little bit of context while I set up.
Yeah, and that's Cole, no pun intended. Well, not really pun, but I'm not Cole from the show. But yeah, if you've watched the show and you've seen the reunion, one of the biggest topics is at the reunion, Zanib effectively just gave it to Cole and aired out all their dirty laundry. If you've seen the reunion, it appears that she was lying, at least in one scene, in the cutie scene, which is the tangerines, and she may have been lying more than that. And if you watch the reunion, all the women, including Brennon, basically jumped on him with, in my opinion, little to no actual proof. It was all word of mouth. So it's brought up a bigger discussion of, do we believe all women? How do we interpret just social interactions between other humans? Like, what makes you believe things and how you process information is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can see I have the clip already pulled up, and we can go ahead on and get started.
Cue the clip.
View the clip. So this first clip is actually from the altar, right? So where
yeah, that was funny.
So we definitely need to see that so we can have some context. So I'll let you go ahead and play this.
Thank you that he knows you and loves this man. I thank you that he knows you and loves you and follows you. You have insulted me. You have critiqued me. And for what it is worth, you have single-handedly shattered my self-confidence.
Yes, people, that is clapping.
The whole time I've been talking about how mature and how respectful and how loyal Zay is. She had me fooled.
So y'all.
Yes. So that's the end. Actually, it was actually a lot worse than that. I'm not gonna lie. But that was the quick clip from the altar scene, right? Where, ironically, she at no point ever actually said any of this stuff to him. She decides to say it, right, to him in front of friends and family, his friends and family at that, right? Well, mostly his friends, because most his immediate family wasn't there, but I think some of his extended family was there, right? And she personally attacked him. It was really, really bad. And in my opinion, it was super distasteful. I really, leading up to that, had a really high opinion of Zanib, and I really don't, and I still don't like Cole, right? I think he's very immature, right? He's passive aggressive, and that's my number one pet peeve in men. I hate passive aggressive men. I really do. Like that's the best thing about being a man is that you don't have to sugarcoat shit with each other. So if you meet a passive aggressive man, it's like, all right, cool. So like you're a bitch. But whatever. I don't care. That's how I feel. Um, and so leading up to it, I still believe this, that he dug his own grave, just like you said before, right? How Zenib handled that, right? First of all, the fact that she had the audacity to pray before she said that. And I do not believe that for 1 second that the God that I serve told you to personally attack that man's character in front of his friends and his family and God. I do not believe that. You chose to do that out of spite and vindictiveness, period. And I lost all respect for her in that moment, which ironically, with a little bit of respect, which was none, that I did have for her, that one, it got even worse at the reunion. And we're going to play then the next reunion clip, right, where Cole said, right, that essentially all of the girls just started attacking Cole based off what Zanib was telling, right, with absolutely no evidence, right? And, even for like women, a lot of times, no offense, I can kind of let that slide. Like, I'm like, okay, cool, women are a little bit emotional sometimes, right? But then the king of simps, Brennon, decides to just hop on that bandwagon.
You gotta crown him, bro.
Bro, it's insane, man.
Yeah, this clip pissed me off. That dude, my least favorite person on the show.
Yeah.
Accepted that awareness of what he did was wrong as an engaged person with someone else.
I can't believe you say that I didn't apologize, because that night we talked all night and all I did was apologize.
I didn't get an apology from you until dinner, like weeks later.
Maybe we don't use the word insane. Let's try
Thank
it.
you, Brennan.
No, I'm saying that's crazy to say that.
Crazy, it's insane.
Like that situation, I feel like is so small compared to a lot of the other things he did that are not shown in it. Like watching it is infuriating.
We can all agree that Cole was not Cole.
Yes. So once again, as you see, why I'm so irritated, because there was absolutely no evidence whatsoever. This went straight to just like this whole believe every single woman propaganda. And it was bullshit. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that's part of the reason why I am frustrated with Cole, because I'm gonna be 100% with you right now. The first time Brennan would have interrupted me, he would have got a look. I ain't gonna front. He would have got a look. I'm gonna say that right now. Whether I was with my wife or not, he would have got a look. The second time he did it, all jokes aside, I would have warned him. I said, if you say one more fucking thing, and if you interrupt me, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna beat the dog shit out of you in front of your wife. You don't know what you're talking about, like whatsoever. You don't know me. And on top of that, I 100% believe the fact that the only reason why Brennan said something to Cole was because Brennan felt like he could take Cole. Because if we gonna keep it a buck, Bartise legitimately was a fuckboy. That is what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't get me wrong.
Was that show like Fuckboy Island?
Cole was immature and an idiot, right? You know what I mean? But
yeah, he's an idiot.
But every step of the way, Bartise, while he was honest, right, in my opinion, he was very, very manipulative. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you start, like, I think Nancy's sexy, she's amazing, blah, blah. And then as soon as you see him, he's raving, like, he can't get it up anymore. The fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, bro, like, that's what it seemed like to me. Everything was fine before that. And then, of course, the family issues and everything like that, I get that, right? But he had no smoke for Bartise. What's the difference? The fact that Bartise is, 6'2", like, 220? That's a coincidence. And then like Brennon, old lanky, weird looking the fuck ass, ain't got nothing to say to him. I'm like, bro, you soft as hell, bro. And
Yeah, I agree.
Alexa gonna walk all over that motherfucker. I guarantee it.
I agree. That scene, man, it reminded me of situations. You remember like growing up, you ever been in a situation where you're around like a whole bunch of women, and I'm talking when you're younger, so maybe like 10, 12, at an age where you're not really allowed to like speak for yourself.
Yep.
And people try to like dictate what you're saying.
Yeah.
But at their age, when you do that, it's just like, to me, it's the ultimate sign of disrespect. Like,
agreed.
Or not even like the ultimate, but it's up there. Like, to your point, I can't believe like the first time that dude would have cut me off, I probably would have told him to shut the fuck up. I don't even know if he even got a warning. It'd have just been like, that's just my natural reaction. It's just to be like,
all right, we're on TV. So I'm gonna try. We're on TV, so I'm gonna try not to act my color, and I'm putting it like that. So that's why he can get the first warning. Like, all
because he had no reason to like
butt in. It had nothing to do with him.
Get nothing.
Like insane. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, so you're one of these fucking Twitter bitches, huh?
Yeah. And my thing is, I don't agree with the way the women responded, but I'm not surprised that women try, because women like they want to. Because again, women are on her side, so they want to control the narrative and make it like they don't want him to call her crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I get why they're doing it. I don't agree with it,
but I can at least understand.
For him to build in understanding what it is, like how it is for men, that just to me was like, okay, I can't punch the shit out of them, but you can get this smoke.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly, and that's just what I mean. It just didn't make
number
sense.
one.
Like, why would you butt in?
That's exactly, if I was called, exactly what I would have said to you. I'm like, I can't hit them. I said, I can knock you the fuck out, and nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care.
And not to get off topic, but that's like one of the things about like, and one of the things that Brennan's going to have to learn. He's going to have to present his masculinity over the relationship, because women like Alexa who run their mouth put you in danger.
There you go, right now. Because I'm telling you right now, she gonna pop off to the wrong motherfucker who don't care who it is, right? And he probably gonna put hands on her, and then you have to try to defend her, and then he gonna beat the shit out of you too.
Yeah, exactly. And that scene was not. I haven't really seen how this being presented like on the internet, but I haven't really seen.
Ironically enough, there are, and I think a lot of it has to do with now like the red pill and everything like that, and Andrew Tate, and like all of these like more pro masculinity things. It's more people in favor of Cole, right, than Zanib. And I think Zanib's problem was that once the way that she did what she did.
Yeah, I agree.
People's problem with Bartise is that he blindsided her, and he did. He 100% blindsided her. You can't even. It's just the truth, right? He blindsided her. Zanib did the exact same thing, and she's thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna have all this support." Like, no, that was not cool. He was not malicious in any way, shape, or form. He's a fucking idiot. I mean, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like, I don't know why you would say that to your. Even like we were talking, like, why would you rate your wife on a scale of 1 to 10? She even in Zanib, like you said before, and Zanib was just like asking for it too. So, well, what with like Colleen in there, like as like a 10, I think she said. So where am I at? Right? I wouldn't. Ain't no way in fucking world. I'm like, girl, if you don't get the fuck out my bed with this bullshit, I ain't got time for this.
And that's one thing I would bring up is that like her asking that question and seeing how she was like very early on, you could see her insecurities coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't think Cole knew how to handle that.
Nope.
And I'll be honest with you, it's like people with insecurities like that are a huge red flag. And I know something like that didn't show up. It probably didn't show up in the pods, or if it did, it was very like subtle. He probably was like, oh, kind of like whatever. But once he got into the real world, I know he was just like, shit, I done messed up.
Absolutely not. That's why I'm like, no, you're crazy, girl. And then and the next clip I'm going to show is just more of Zanib just digging her own grave even worse, because it was already bad after that clip, but it just got progressively worse, you know? So it was just no reason. Sorry, give me one second. There we go. Mm-hmm.
God, was that dramatic.
I definitely could have shown more grace. We were in a super weird time warp.
He's like likable when you're watching it, and I'm just knowing what I know. It's.
I'll just say it was the tangerine thing.
Oh yeah,
It was
eat all the tangerines.
Number at the bachelor party or something.
Pushing food away from me, asking if I'm going to eat that, trying to get me to order a salad. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the receipts aren't there. Like the trying to control what I ate and me changing my eating habits.
Sorry, he did that?
Yeah, it was.
That's hilarious. I never once cared about what you ate. What are you talking about? Just build your self-confidence. I've already done all these things. I'm like, why were you there?
I'm not crazy. I'm not
Please air
a
it.
liar.
If you have it, please air it. If I destroyed someone's self-esteem, like, then I regret it. I said some things that I would never say. And, like, watching it destroyed me.
He does say at the end of the day, like the art.
In the words of Cat Williams, bitch, it's self-esteem.
Yeah, it is at the end of the day. And it really is. You say what you want, but it is at the end of the day. For a man to go out and try to find a wife, right? Tradition, what happens, right? Not even tradition. Let's say like in the last 20 years, right? What happens? You go up to a girl, I like you, buy roses, whatever, blah, blah, whatever the fuck it is, right? And if you're the majority of the 5 foot, I think the average height of a man is 5'8". 5'8", and you're making 40 to 50K a year, what's going to happen? No, I'm okay. 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 And every single time you got to pick yourself up off of the ground, right? And you got to go out there. And you got to do it again. 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 And you got to do it again. So you're trying to tell me right now that and let's make no mistake, I don't like Zanib whatsoever right now. I have zero respect for her as a person. I don't have any respect for her. She's a liar, and that's apparent. And at the end of the reunion show, they showed the exact clip that she was talking about. And at no point during that situation did Cole say what she said. At one point, in fact, he even offered her food that was way more than 200 calories for some fucking cuties, right? In a poke bowl. Again, Cole's an idiot. Make no mistake. Cole's an idiot, and you're a liar. You are like I don't care whatsoever, and that's the reason. And the reason why I'm so irritated about this is because it makes it hard for when real women are going through like toxic bullshit in relationships, and it makes motherfuckers not believe it because of women like her.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like, I think she in an Instagram post or even on the show in the reunion, she made a point that she chooses her words very carefully because she takes a situation. She'll take what Cole said, which he did say some of those things.
Yeah, of course.
But not in the. But she took it, twisted it, and then basically gaslighted him into making it feel as if that was what he was saying. She was gaslighting him so bad, like the part where about him getting a girl's number. She gaslit him so bad that he started to believe that he did actually do this, and he didn't, but. When the trauma keeps happening to you again and again and again, and everyone's pounding on you, you start to believe. It's like if someone told you that you were like let's say you grew up in like a really bad like neighborhood, you ain't got no support system, and all you hear is I ain't shit, I ain't shit, I ain't shit. You started to be gaslit, into believing that you ain't shit, and that's what really happened to do. And I'm like, yo, this shit's crazy because like I honestly believe that maybe, like, let's say she listed out 10 things. Maybe he did 2.
Yeah, maybe. I say maybe 2. No, 2 is good. I say 2. I say 20% is real, 80% is bullshit.
Cause it's just like, yo, like this chick is just like she's off the like.
Yeah, anything
That
to play the
scene
fucking
was just like when I'm watching it, I was like
yeah,
you
no,
said, this dude literally offers you food and
yeah.
was like his demeanor was like very joking in the sense that he was trying to like he wanted her to stop and eat, like,
Like
but she
real
was
fucking.
just sitting there peeling the little oranges, and I don't know why she didn't want to eat. I guess maybe again I don't understand.
I think that this is what I think it was. Colleen is a very small, fit girl, right? And I think that Colleen is more Cole's type. And I think that the fact that she knew that Cole's type was more her, that she thought that, okay, in her little twist of mind, that in order for Cole to really be attracted to love me, I need to like starve myself to death until I'm, Colleen's fucking body type. She made that decision on her own, though. Cole never said that you need to do that, though.
And let me ask you this question, right? Because maybe you understand this better. So, like, I went on Zanib's Instagram, and she looks like a very like small, thin girl to me. So I guess like
she's not small, right? Like she's not small, but she's not big either, though. Like she's decent like curves, like you know what I mean, like but compare with like Colleen's she's very like fit, like super like fit, like Raven, for example, right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Raven is very fit, but in Cole, that may be his thing. You know what I mean? But like if you compare physical body types between Raven and Nancy, I would probably pick Nancy because she has a little bit more weight on her, and I like that.
I see what you're saying. So like in the perspective of like Zanib, her thought process may be like, which is ignorant, right? Let me not eat so I look closer to her body type, which actually wouldn't give her the body type.
Anyway,
but it's just like that's like the normal response you do when someone has like a quote unquote better body. If you're not educated, it's just like, well, let me not eat.
Exactly, right. So to me, it was just like bullshit. I was like, how fucking dare you, man? Like, and then and this is when I was like really I was really like not believing her. But I remember when I completely knew she was lying was when Matt, of all fucking people, Matt, the one that Cole was pushing up on his fiance with, Matt came in to Cole's defense, right? The one person on that show that should have punched Cole in the fucking face for what he said, right? If we're being honest, the man code alone, Cole should have got an ass whooping based off that shit that he said, right? He really should have. The fact that Matt came in and said, hey, I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong, but at that bar, there were no women, and then afterwards, we got
into the Uber.
We got into the Uber, and we went home. That's what happened, right? When he said that, I was like, oh, this bitch is lying.
And granted, I know we saw like very small clips of their bachelor party, but legit, I didn't see any women.
And then, like they said before, like you getting dick slung in your damn face.
Like to be honest, their bachelor party, when they were showing it, I was like, who the fuck put this together?
Yeah.
Where are the women? It was so weird.
Exactly, right? And they did. None of that shit happened. Like, you know what I mean? None of that shit happened. But then, you know what I mean? And to me, it was like again, the propaganda for this like woke bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so the women get like these fucking buff dudes fucking at the fucking, pre-bachelorette party, and then they go to a fucking strip club. And then what happens to the guys? They go to a fucking bull show, and then they go drink by themselves in a fucking saloon. Like,
I agree. And that's what I was telling you the other day. And then to think that Zanib had the audacity to try to say that he picked up a girl's phone number, but you were literally having dicks in your face. Like there's the tone. She was so tone deaf in that moment.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to me, but the sad part is like, I know there's still there's still a good chunk of people who are really still taking her side.
Of course they are, because it's easier for people, and I don't care, and I'm gonna say it right, you know what I mean? Because those people are losers, in my opinion, that can't think for themselves. Yeah. And they can't even use logic and reason to look at all of the available facts. And they would rather believe her, because if they believe her, right, and she's lying to herself, then when they're lying to themselves, they're gonna hope that other people believe them. That's why people choose that. because when they're wrong, they're hoping that hey, if I keep lying about this too, other people are going to believe me. Like, it's the truth. I'm like, absolutely not.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy, but it makes sense because I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, I was with Zanib. I was like, okay, maybe he is doing this. But once they pulled that cuties footage, I was like, you're done. Because think about it, that was a piece of content that she selectively chose to give details.
Yes.
So you would think that would be the best moment for her and the worst for him.
Exactly.
And I'm like, if you fuck that up, I know the other shit ain't valid.
Yeah, nothing. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Cole's passive aggressive. He's an idiot. You know, he does not talk to women. Got it. Like, Zanib, you're a pathological liar.
Yo, that chick's psycho. She's legit psycho.
And now I'm starting to understand why Cole asked if you're bipolar. Because I really think that there is something mentally fucking wrong with her.
Oh yeah, I agree, because you could again, I don't really like so first off, I don't like when people use I don't like when the general public uses tries to what's the word
censor everybody else?
Not censor, but like diagnose people with mental disorders, because a lot of times people don't really know what they mean. I know I don't. But in his instance, at a minimum, her mood swings were like just
dramatic. Yeah.
And you could even see it in the small clips that we saw, we could see them. And I could also see that from the women's perspective. Again, everything she does is very calculated. The way she's presenting herself to the women and then to him, and then even off camera, I'm sure was like completely different. Like, and the thing is, she's the kind of girl when she talks, she seems like, and she's a stewardess, so you're like, oh, she's probably really friendly, this and that. But then once you get to know her, it's just like, you know, this chick is out here to like, I don't know what she's trying to do, but she's crazy. Because to me, like, I don't know about you, but I get concerned because like, I thought she was very pretty. I think she's like 31, a stewardess.
Yeah, like 31, 32, something like that.
Girl, you a stewardess, you like,
and nobody has
probably been doing that for like, I don't know, let's say 5 years, and you single, something ain't right. Because if you look looking stewardess, you're getting snatched up.
Yes, period. I don't, unless you're on some rinky dink ass airline, but she's good enough. Like, she probably working first class. Like, there's no reason she should be single. No reason. I agree. I really do. Yeah, I think that it's evident that there's something like wrong with her, right? It really is. It's evident there's something wrong with her. So for me, yeah, I'm like, it's like, you know, and everything else I can really like let to the slide for Cole and for her. But my number one thing is like the fact that you went up there at that altar, number one, and you prayed first. You prayed to my God. And then you proceeded to destroy this man in front of your family and friends. And then on top of that, your friends started clapping. Your friends started clapping to me. And that's the people don't understand. When somebody does you wrong and you respond, right? Make no mistake. It does not make you right. It does not make you right. In fact, it makes you the exact same as them. The difference is that when it's reactive in the moment, that's a human weakness. If you go and you plan out a whole fucking speech, that's premeditated murder right there. That shows vindictiveness on a whole nother level. You see what I'm saying? And people think that, oh, well, if this person does something to me, that means I get to get him back in the worst possible way. I'm like, you know what? And that's why your ass is fucking single right then and there. Because who the fuck want to be with somebody like that?
Exactly.
Who the fuck wants to be with some vindictive ass motherfucker? Nobody.
Exactly. That's why you gotta like. That's like people who, when they like you know, you're in the workplace and something bad happens to you, you don't get that promotion.
Yeah.
Rather than just keep pushing, you just shut down and start blaming the others for your problems. Yep. It's the same concept, and it's just like, why are you doing that? And it's funny to me because when they started clapping, I was like, that was the kind of response I would have expected if, like, let's say if Nancy would have said no, that was the response I would expect from her
expected.
family. I'm like, why are people clapping for Zanib saying no? Like, I don't understand this. Like, it was odd. It didn't make sense to me why they were. I mean, I get why they were clapping now, but at the time I was like, why are y'all clapping? But now we know that she must have like
Because she planned that shit.
unloaded
Yeah.
all her shit
On them.
exaggerated the fuck out of it. Hell, she might even told him to fucking clap for all we know. That shit.
Yeah, and she planned that shit too. You know what I mean? And like, even my wife, we kind of like talked about it briefly, and I kind of told her I felt about it. And you know, I said, look, I'm not saying like I said she could have. First of all, she could have said a lot of stuff before she got to the altar. All she had to do is say, "No, but I still love you." Cool, blah blah blah. Right? Like even that's the one thing I say about the Bartiz thing. At least he just said no for like very general reasons, and then they went off. You know what I'm saying? Like not in front of everybody, and we're trying to have that conversation. Right, but you did it in front of everybody. That was spite. I'm like, and honestly, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you cannot sit up here and tell me that if she was a mother and she was up there and her son had behaved the same way that Cole had, that she would be okay with some young woman doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy. And I think part of it's in today's society. Like, I think women just get the leashes too long because I really don't like. If that was Cole or Bartiz, they never would have done that. They wouldn't have. Don't get me wrong. Bartiz did railroad
Nancy. Yeah,
Nancy, but he didn't railroad her. Like, he knows if he would have done that, he would be crucified in public opinion. I would make the case that with Zanib, even with her actions, she can still get her followers are up. She can probably still get brand deals. Hell, she can probably get a brand deal with BetterHelp.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a bitch, but then I sought medical advice, and now I'm less of a bitch. Get help too.
Yeah, I really think to some extent that she was on that show for clout.
Yeah.
I do think she is legitimately crazy, but I think also there is a sense she did have a plan and did have her tactics are calculated.
Oh yeah,
and I feel so bad for Cole because I'm like, yo, this dude. To your point, these young dudes, he was not prepared for that.
No, not at all. Nobody's arguing that. Yeah.
Which is, I'm just like, yo, how did he get into that situation? And I'm just like, I don't know, she got him, man. And I don't know if you'll like that's a pretty scarring event.
It is. And the fucked up part is that like, and people don't understand like why this shit is so serious because like when you meet like and you see shit like this online, that's where so many young men who don't want to get married, like right then and there, because they see shit like that. They see shit like that all the fucking time. It's the same across the board. The problem with young men and young women right now is because they're seeing females like that, right? Lying, cheating, stealing their way through life, right? And then young women are seeing these guys that they want, right? Who look good, who have money and stuff like that, who are 10 years older than them usually. And then they're going after them. And then those guys treat them like dogs. And then they think that everybody else is a fucking dog. And then there's also just as many amount of, women who know somebody that happened to them, and they're basing their opinions off of the mass majority of men off of those fucking assholes.
Exactly.
It's just like a huge misrepresentation as a whole. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. And it's and like everyone's experience is anecdotal, but if it happens to you enough, you start to believe it to be true. Of
course you do.
So for Cole's situation, I'm like, to your point, I'm like, yo, a lot of dudes saw that. And it's just like, why would I want to get married to get railroaded like that?
No.
And to think, I mean, she had a job. She's a nice looking girl. I guess on paper, she seemed to be fine. I mean, now once she started spilling out her past, again, I know her parents dying that shouldn't be a hit against her, but there is going to be trauma of having you pass away at an early age. But like, I mean, generally speaking, I mean, like, for example, right? If you went to so not online dating, but like a
Tinder.
what's those things where they do the speed dating, right?
Oh, speed dating.
You saw like her rap sheet. You probably be thinking like, oh yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, you wouldn't think anything. Yeah, I wouldn't think anything either. Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be no reason to within like 5 minutes to be like, I'm canceling her out of my pool of girls to date. So like that's why when I saw that happen to Cole, I'm like, yo, that's not good because she didn't have any like immediate like red flags. I mean, some things that were minor, but shit that like I'm not gonna penalize someone for like losing their parents. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, no, of course not. It's not your fucking fault. Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, I did see like a Donovan Sharp live stream, and he was like talking about how that was a red flags, and I'm like, I can kind of see what he's saying, but for me personally, I can't. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell people like, hey, don't date people who like lost their kids at an early age, because you know there are people out here who who have that same experience, who've overcome that. It is something to be aware of, but I'm not gonna go like super red pill where I'm just like, you can't date single moms, you can't date this.
No,
everyone's got
some baggage.
Everyone's got some baggage, man. You got to be able to navigate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like to your point, man, seeing something like that, like live on TV as a man, and knowing that they can divorce you, take 50% of your shit, take your kids. Yeah, I could. It's hard to be like, yeah, go get married, and then let me look at Brennon. Like you'd be like, oh well, that didn't happen to him. He's literally a fucking lapdog at this point.
He is, yeah.
His face is literally in her ass.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
his situation really is. I mean, it's better because he didn't get embarrassed. But long term, I think he's in a worse situation.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like, and to me, it just seems like he doesn't have a very strong sense of himself either.
None
at all. Like the fact that he was even like willing to convert to like Judaism. Again, there's nothing wrong with Judaism. I have no issue with Judaism.
Well, I agree.
But at the same time, like, you're willing to completely change your faith based on who you're marrying.
I've always thought that was sketchy. Like two things I thought was sketchy was the fact they didn't get into any fights, and the fact that he converted to Judaism. That's like, that ain't some shit you just do overnight.
He's a fucking yes man.
And even if you do it, like if you're not actually practicing, like actually like involved in the community, then what was the point of fucking doing it? So to me, it was just sketchy. It was just sketchy. Yeah, I didn't agree with that shit either.
You know who surprisingly ended up being my favorite guy on the show? Was SK.
SK was my favorite.
SK,
I fuck with him.
I did not see that because I respected SK so much, because deep down he knew that Raven was not ready to be married yet because she was being so inflexible, and I was really proud of himself for standing up for himself in that moment, because he literally said like, hey, I can take care of the bills, if we're together, you don't have to work or do anything, right? But she's like, well, I still want to stay here, but I also want you to like help pay for my bills here too. And I'm like, that's not fair whatsoever. Like, he makes good money, he's going back to grad school. So, and I'm genuinely concerned for Colleen. Like, like he look, this is him the whole fucking. He look like, it's not funny, right? I mean, it is funny. Like, but seriously though, like, I'm like, why is nobody talking about that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he the way he like it, and I get it, it's trauma, and I know that sucks, right? But I'm like, bro, like, he spazzed, bro. Like, he spazzed so fucking hard over that shit, bro. Again, I understand, like, that you know what I mean? But, like, he spazzed so fucking hard on her, bro. Like, and I'm just like, bro, like, if you're willing to do it in the first 4 fucking weeks, man, what are you going to do when you get to, like, a year?
Yeah, I think he's the kind of person, his insecurities, they come out, like, I think part of it's because he's a man. His insecurities comes out in violence where, like, so, like, in my opinion, I think she's, like, in his mind, she's out of his league.
Yeah.
I mean, and after with Cole, and Cole basically reinforced that.
Yeah.
So he's not going to let any dude come near her, look at her, touch her. Because even like your point, his energy, his presence around her in the reunion said, don't come near my woman. I will fuck you up.
Yeah.
It was just like way too
much.
It was just too much. Yeah. Like, if, for example, now granted, Nick and Vanessa are like having to, center their energy toward the person they're talking to, but just looking at their energy compared to theirs, or even like Brennon and Alexa, it was just complete. Like that dude was like, "Yo, don't get within 10 feet of her, I'll fuck you up." And I'm like, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he genuinely worries me. You know what I mean? Like worries me for real. Like
I'm like, why is he so like? But again, like I just feel like, and that's into the opposite of it. Like SK shocked me because so like I'm glad he did what he did, but I would say there's a good chunk of men if they got a baddie like
Raven,
they would have been like, fuck it, I don't care.
Exactly right, and that's where
that dude was willing to lose her for his own ethics and moral. And I don't know what's more red pill than that, but that dude, you got my respect.
Yeah, he definitely moved up to number one very, very quickly. I was so proud of him. I was like, because he's a good dude, man. He really is. He's a good dude, man. Like
because most people don't have the self-worth to sit there and be like and be able to risk losing her. But I'm proud of him for doing that because I mean that's, and mind you, it's difficult, not to mention like she met his mother, like he on this TV show, so it's all this pressure to like go through with it too, But he did the right thing because she definitely is not ready to get married.
She was inflexible as hell. Yeah.
She's like, because even she was like, well, I'll stay in my apartment. I'm like, girl, y'all getting married. Like, why would you stay in your apartment?
Exactly. That makes no sense at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, this was a great episode, though. You know what I mean? We are definitely going to be reacting to a few more videos coming up here very shortly. And you got any last little, by the ways, tidbits?
Nah, not much, but I'm definitely excited for like next season because I thought I would say this was the best season for like analysis, for like analyzing just human interaction. It wasn't really successful to me, but for like viewership, God, it was great.
Point blank period. Yeah, point blank period. It was amazing. But yeah, so this is Common Sense, and we are out.
Peace.